John and Ken Show. John Cobell and Ken Shampoo on KFI. So this ridiculous, bizarre public spanking of Phil Mickelson because he dared complain about losing over 60% of his income to taxes is just astounding. Why do people hate the successful and the accomplished? Where did this start? I've never in my life heard so much complaining about people who do well. If you're not doing well, then figure out a way to do better. But don't be angry with Phil Mickelson because he does well and he doesn't want to give away 60% of his income in taxes. What the... All right, now we have... Here's an empty can.
Please curse. It's appropriate.
An empty husk. Jill Painter... from the LA Daily News?
Yeah, I was looking at the front page today, the printed edition, and I saw a little blurb in the corner. Jill Painter takes Phil Mickelson to task over his tax comments. I said, I got to read this.
Play some music. Fire up the piano player, the violinist, whoever we pay to do this. Clay, you ready? Phil Mickelson has seemingly never done wrong in the eyes of golf fans. He's beloved at the Riviera Country Club. He's won over hardened New Yorkers. He's appealed to the masses with his penchant for Five Guys burgers and that goofy stride. He often signs endless photographs and has done much for charity. Mickelson surely lost much of that adoration, and rightfully so, with his whining about the tax rate Sunday. Mickelson made a serious error in judgment by expressing those sentiments. Most people in his tax bracket feel that way, obviously, but saying it publicly was shocking. Last year, he made $47.8 million. If he was taxed 62%, he'd be left with a measly $18.2 million. Don't you feel bad he might have to retire? And then it talked about Mickelson releasing a statement of apology. Too late. How do you apologize to people who are struggling to get by or ones who are unemployed? No one likes to hear millionaires whine about millions. And for the first time, the guy who once seemed like one of us just gave everyone a stark reality check. Remember, this is the guy who commutes by private jet. He doesn't have to deal with traffic, but he does have a real headache on his hands now. And a statement of apology isn't going to wash those hands of it. He's very unlike most Americans. Mickelson is the 7th richest athlete in the world. Mickelson erred greatly. This might cost him much more than any tax hike.
People are going to stop watching him and buying his...
I am going to vomit. I am going to upchuck last week's dinner. Is she out of her mind? He's not going to lose any fans. People watch him because he golfs well. They know he makes a lot of money. And when people hear that the government's taking 62%, I think most people might say, wow, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
I didn't know it was that high.
The tens of millions it results in, right?
I mean, what you make $47 million and they take away $25 million?
Yeah.
The government?
Isn't that enough of a fair share for you to say maybe that's too much?
And this sneering...
And for saying that?
LA Daily News writer, she's probably making $50,000 and she's bitter and angry that she makes so little because she has so little talent. All she does is she snipes at people who do really well, who are successful and have the courage to actually say, hey, the government taking 2/3 of my income is a little much. What the hell planet are we on?
That's upside down. But it's a great example of the them versus us over this whole ridiculous fair share argument. All right, when we come back, Congressman Ed Royce, the Republican from Fullerton, who now has quite a position. He's chairman of the House Foreign Affairs Committee. He'll tell us what they wanted to get out of Secretary of State Hillary Clinton today in these hearings.
Tim Conway Jr.
Hey, thank you, fellas. You know, I was at Hollywood Park, and I saw that Phil Mickelson's horse was running that day. He owns a horse.
Yeah.
And I bet on it to come in second, and it did. That's a true story. See? He comes in second all the time.
Was this after deep analysis, or do you just have these?
Oh, it's a hunch.
Yeah,
it's a hunch.
He's all hunches.
That's why you go broke all the time.
Oh, yeah. But listen, we have something. I want to announce it on the John and Ken show. If you text the word